How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to be starting off our David Ayer review series leading up to The Beekeeper next week, which is some movie that I am nervously excited for, mostly because David Ayer to me is more of a hit and miss director. There are elements about his films that I really enjoy, and it feels like he likes to play in the same sandbox, so it's going to be very interesting going through his filmography as a director and seeing how I enjoy some of them and some of them I could care less. Now, most of these are going to be first time watches for me, and that was the case when it came down to Harsh Times. The film stars Christian Bale as Jim Davis, an ex-army ranger who finds himself slipping back into his old life of petty crime after a job offer from the LAPD evaporates. His best friend, played by Freddy Rodriguez, is pressured by his girlfriend Sylvia, played by Eva Longoria, to find a job, but Jim is more interested in hanging out and making cash from small heists while trying to get a law enforcement job so he can marry his Mexican girlfriend. Now, movies like these are really up my alley. I really love when a film takes place in SoCal and you have all these gangster type movies. So this movie was going to be right up my alley. Went into it knowing absolutely nothing. And you know what? Say what you want, but Christian Bale, he is more than happy to be invited to the carne asada any day of the week. Seeing Christian Bale play a cholo was really surprising because I thought Shia LaBeouf was the first person in a David Ayer film to do that. And well, I never thought that I would see the day when I would get to see Christian Bale play a cholo, and he plays it very well. There are aspects about his character that I really like, especially when it came down to how he handles his PTSD scenes and everything that happens. He is more of the chaotic character in this film, and we have Freddy Rodriguez, who plays his best friend Mike, who is more of the chill character. Even though he likes going around and getting messed up with Jim, there are aspects about his character that I could really latch onto, especially when it came down to the relationship between him and his girlfriend, where his girlfriend wants him to get a job in order for him to be able to succeed and not really hang around Jim as much, because that is how he spends a majority of his time. It's just driving around, smoking weed, getting drunk, partying, and so on. Those aspects I really enjoy how David Ayer was able to make SoCal feel like a character within itself. Even when it comes down to the chaoticness of Jim, there are aspects about his character that you can see how he's about to be a ticking time bomb, and at any single point, at any single given moment, he is a bomb ready to go off, and you're just waiting for that moment. And there are times when he is able to go off, and Christian Bale absolutely knocks it out of the park on those aspects. But even the brotherhood relationship between Jim and Mike is what really got me engaged with this movie, because that is what I was really tied to for the most part when it came down to these characters and seeing them just go around. And that is basically a majority of this movie. A majority of this movie is just seeing them just driving around Los Angeles, just getting messed up and doing all these stupid shits. Meanwhile, Mike is trying to get on the right path in order for him to keep his girlfriend and make her happy. But then you also have Jim, on the other hand, who is basically the knucklehead of these two guys. So on those aspects, there are things and themes that I really enjoy between brotherhood and relationships. That is something that I was able to gravitate towards. Some of the editing choices in here was a little bit distracting. You can kind of get where it's coming from, because I feel like the story is being told through Jim's eyes. And so basically everything that we're seeing is in his mental state and how he is viewing the world, because there are a lot of demons that this character has that is just ready to let out at any given moment. And just seeing that self-destruct nature where he's bringing his friend down with him as well, that is something that is somewhat intriguing to me. However, it's hard for me to root for this person when he is unlikable for a majority of this movie. If this movie was told through the point of view of Mike, then I could be able to get on board with these two. However, you have that duality in here, where you have the calm, collected character within Mike, and then you have the self-destructing character within Jim, that is hard for you to get behind and really want to see him get better, even though that is not the path that he really wants to go on. There are a lot of anxiety-inducing scenes for me in here that I really loved and enjoyed and just kept me engaged, and it was hard for me to catch my breath at points. However, some of the dialogue in here, it's okay at times, but other times it didn't work for me. I was not buying into a lot of the dialogue. You see some of the David Ayer isms in here. This is the movie that is shaping him, that we will later see in future installments. So on those aspects, I think this is a fine directed film as far as David Ayer's first film is being directed. But for me, some of it has to do with the dialogue that didn't really work for me as much. But overall, I still enjoy this movie to a degree. I think it's worth watching and worth viewing if you haven't checked it out just yet. Christian Bale is absolutely fantastic. The relationship between him and Freddy Rodriguez absolutely worked for me. But overall, this is a movie that I really enjoyed, but it's not one that I'm going to revisit anytime soon. But those are my thoughts on Harsh Times. Have you guys checked it out? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments below and let me know, what is your favorite movie about SoCal?